Hey, Miami sports fans. Stop by Caneswear today at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, Florida. And check out their awesome merchandise selection of your favorite South Florida sports teams. From the Miami Dolphins, Hurricanes, Heat, Marlins, Florida Panthers, and Inter Miami, they've got it all. Celebrate your favorite team and show off your fandom with their beautiful team starter jackets, killer-looking helmets, team jerseys, cool shirts, and more. And if you are out of town or out of state, no worries. Go to caneswear.com and find everything they have on their site. Select what you want, and they will ship your gear to you. Anything over $99 is shipped for free. Don't wait. Stop at Caneswear today.
Traffic, but I love you.
Ahora de Cuba la Bella, del Palacio de los Jugos,
los chicharrones.
Los vecinos aquí se enteran de todo.
Mi vecina era CDR en Cuba.
Y en verdad no hay nothing that you can do. Chacleteras sin llames con corbata.
Aquí yo vendo hot dog, pero en Cuba yo era médico.
Le saco el dedo y digo Q.
Sweet home Hialeah. Solo 30 minutos de Le Fallo. Oh, sweet home Hialeah. I hate your traffic, but I love you.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of East 10th Street Boys, straight out of Hialeah. I'm Bobby Fidstalk, joined by the one and only Alex Atiachiska. Alex, what's up, brother?
What's up, my man? I'm in dark and cool South Florida today. I love the
There
weather.
you go.
So part of it from the forefront, I'm going to mention if there's any planes landing. You're going to see me just mute myself. So my apologies for that. But how you doing, buddy? Miss you, man.
Miss you too, my man. We got over 49 people watching from YouTube to Twitter through and our social medias, which is pretty cool. Welcome to everybody, East 10th Street Boys, straight out of Hialeah. A lot of news to talk about. Miami Dolphins, NFL free agency. It started and how eventful it was. At first, not so good for Miami for some fans. Christian Wilkins is gone. Robert Hunt is gone. I mean, talk about heartbreak. And in Miami, convert some salaries, work out some deals, get under the cap, and then they make some signings. They start getting active in free agency. So we're going to touch up on all that. We're going to touch on what's possibly to come. I see Mom's back over here watching. Appreciate you. Got Tati, of course, watching, and everyone else as well. All right. And we got a special guest. Anthony Manzano is there. We do have a special guest who's going to join us in a little bit. Surprised us. Haven't seen him in probably a couple of months. He's been out working and everything, and he finally called me yesterday.
He had a busy day today, so he's coming out of the woodworks right now.
He is
a little bit.
Let me see. Put Manzano there. Manzano has some big news. Great news, fellas. I just found out recently I'm going to be an uncle again. Congratulations, and God bless the baby girl, brother. Vids up, man. That is awesome.
We can return him at the end of the night. It's amazing.
Theo Anthony. Courtney in the house. What's up, Court? Great to see you, girl.
Hey,
Courtney.
When is your hiatus done again? When you gotta come. You gotta come with us one day and join us.
Well, I was gonna reach out to her, but I know she's on a break. I was gonna reach out to see if she wanted to talk about some of this today, but it's all good. Just happy to see she's on there. Absolutely, she deserves it. But we do have she might freak out though because she's going to see someone I know she's going to love. But first, let's go ahead, get the news out of the way. Bam is still overrated. Never mind. We don't have no more guests. The guest is gone. He's been declined. But Alex,
yes, sir.
So much to touch on, man. But before we go, next week, there you go. All right.
All right. Sounds good.
Let us go ahead and let's bring in our guest because I want him to stay, at least come with us to talk NFL, even though I know he could talk everything else.
Yeah.
I want NFL because it's been a while since we heard his voice, at least on the network. So I want to get him in here whenever he's ready to pop in. I know he can do it himself. His
let
camera's
yourself
off.
in, buddy. We left the key on
There it is.
There he is.
God help us
all.
all.
God help us all.
Oh man. Evan Posner, Finn Stanza. Where the hell have you been, man?
Where have I been? I've been to Germany. I've been to Ottawa. I've been to Toronto. Unfortunately, someone in my within my company who hired me passed away, so I was dealing with that as well. So it's been a crazy time with the company. So last time I was on was probably I did a bandwagon show about a little over a month ago. But I've been in the comments. I've been here and there. We all have the kids stuff going on. Yes, I'm alive. That's we have to come up with a new nickname because people think I come out of the woodwork. Bobby, you really started something with there. I die. I come back. I have like 13 lives. It's pretty amazing.
That's why when you're like, "Did you miss me?" Were you worried when you called me yesterday? I'm like, "Dude, I'm used to this."
But it must. By the way, in Canada, I was hoping for that it would be already spring. It snowed again today. We hadn't had snow in a month. In Montreal in February, we almost had no snow. Now it's back. But no, honestly, I had what a day this last couple of hours, and I said to myself, "You want to know what? I haven't seen my beautiful bearded men." I said I've been very calm about what's been going on with the Dolphins. I've been laughing at Twitter today. That was the only thing that got me through the day. And honestly, but I must say to all three of you, I know Alex, you do it, and Bobby, nothing gives me more joy. I was just in Ottawa for 3 days coaching. I signed us my kids' hockey team for a tournament. We bonded, played mini sticks, went to bowling, and we did all this stuff. And we had 3-4 great games and the bond that these kids have. And I'm sure you, Bobby, you're doing it with flag football coming up, and you did it with basketball. And I know Alex does it with volleyball and a bunch of other things. There's nothing, no matter what sports we've all played in our lives, nothing gives you more joy than watching your kids succeed and coaching them play. Like, I love watching football, love watching sports. Nothing's more fun than watching your kids play sports. It's the most satisfying thing in the world.
Absolutely, 1,000%. That's why I love doing it. I told my son, just enjoying coaching him in basketball and making those memories with him and watching him get better week in, week out. And of course, now I'm doing the flag football. I'm very excited to get that started. Already got I was practicing with him yesterday because I made a little playbook, and I'm like, okay, and said, I don't have it here, but then, it's like, okay, option out, blah, blah, blah. It has like these, but then I changed it to crisscross applesauce, and then I got like, different little names I'm working on because they're younger kids. So let's see here. Got a question here because we're going to touch on these right here. Dad Dean, give me a moment, man. Let us go ahead and talk about that since we got the guys in here. You see, I'm going to put this here. Let's touch on some news for the Dolphins, and we'll react as we go on. Right now, this broke earlier today. As soon as free agency hit, Christian Wilkins signed a mega deal. Let me see if I got the numbers here. And Evan usually pulls it out.
Yeah, it was 4 years.
I know he's.
He signed for 4 years, $110 million.
Yeah.
27.5 million.
84.75 guaranteed. Christian Wilkins. Evan, I'll let you start since you're the guest of honor. You've been out. Man, your reaction to this. Christian Wilkins no longer a Dolphin.
When we found out that he wasn't going to re-sign, I wasn't upset. I see a lot of people on Twitter, and I've been watching it over the last couple of weeks. They were never going to franchise tag him. I said last year, I remember during the season saying I'd pay him 15, 17 as he grew. But then when I started seeing the fact that they didn't get a deal done at the beginning of the season, and the moment I saw what Zach Sealer got for his extension, I said to myself, he is going to think that because he increased his sack total, that he should get Quinnen Williams, Simmons, Chris Jones potential money. And for what I was telling Bobby yesterday was, when you come to a Miami Dolphins game, you know who they're planning for. They're planning for Tua. They're planning for Tyreek. They're planning maybe for and the two Jalen's. And on defense, they're playing for Jalen Ramsey, maybe when Chubb is there, and Phillips. That's who they plan for. You never hear, oh my God, they're planning for Christian Wilkins. Now, was he a leader in the heart and soul of that defense because he was at the beginning of the rebuild? Sure. but he's no 27 and $28 million defensive lineman. You can go in the draft and you can develop somebody again. You can go find someone at a more reasonable price. You've invested your money in Jalen Ramsey and Tyreek Hill. You're going to invest it in Tua. You invested it in Armstead. You invested it in Chubb. You're going to have to pay Phillips. You're going to have to pay Waddle. You're going to have to pay Holland. He's not, when you compare his stats to Zach Sealer, he is not $16 to $17 million more a year than Zach Sealer. When you put up that, and had we signed him to that contract, Dolphins Twitter and the Brett Lagasse's of the world would be ripping Chris Greer a new one, saying, how could you pay him that kind of money when you have other needs at linebacker, which we're going to get into, and all that. So for me, him to go to the Raiders, in the end, he wasn't looking to be about with the Miami Dolphins. He was looking for his dollars, his money. And for a guy who's known as the cheapest guy on the team, he wanted his bang for his buck. And good luck to him with the Raiders. I think he was a great Miami Dolphin. He was a great leader. But he's not the heart and soul of this team. Christian Wilkins is not the player you need in order to win a Super Bowl. He's a complimentary player, but he's no Aaron Donald. He is no Chris Jones. He is not that player.
There you go. Alex, your thoughts?
Well, I'll second this because to be upfront, a player is not less talented because he walks away from your organization and he signs a much richer deal than you were going to offer him. A lot of fans are going to jump. I mean, no fans going to see that, but they're going to knock you down and they're going to go into this route of, oh, we just let him walk. We could have traded him for something. We're going to get a compensatory pick the next year, probably in the third or fourth round, based on the money that he signed for. Realistically, like you said, Evan, we can find. You're not going to replace Christian Wilkins, right? Production-wise, the locker room presence, the comfort level that the team had with him, but you can replace his production. You can replace his production at a more efficient cost. Like I mentioned, it opens up a lot in regards to your first pick. If you retain your first pick, could still, my philosophy is best player available. That opens up a lot of possibilities where there's a nose tackle, an edge rusher, because we do have Chubb injury. We do have Phillips coming back from injury. But we have a lot of things coming back and a lot of possible extensions in the near future that I believe are more essential to this team than paying Christian Wilkins that amount of guaranteed money. And remember, a lot of people are going to criticize Greer. And like I said, I'm not going to get into these back and forth because to me, I know. Well, if you notice on Twitter, I really don't post anymore as much. I really don't repost a lot of things because I don't have the time to continuously compare and contrast what GMs are doing and automatically always look at my situation and the downfall or the plus or the minus. Like, first of all, it's the first day of free agency. All our free agents, the market is a little bit inflated, and that's where it's heading in regards to the highest positions in football are the quarterback position, edge rusher, tackles, and guards. Like, that's where these contracts, the moment Robert Hunt got $100 million, I'm like, whoa. Like, there's no way I would want my GM to give. I understand his value, but these are teams that are also having to overpay to get those players there. And I know it's resetting the market over and over. Every brand new deal resets the market, and that's the point. But there's no way I'm going to give Wilkins a $27 million average per year salary for the foreseeable future because that ties me down. Look what the Bills had to do that we were just mentioning. Like, you can go all in, and now this is one of the things. Chris Greer signs that contract. You don't make the Super Bowl. You lose first game in the playoffs. Oh, you see, he overpaid for Wilkins because he can't draft a replacement. The whole team, the people that we drafted, got record deals in their positions, or if not top 5 money in their positions. By no means am I saying that our GM is the best in the world. No, but there is a play. The way they proceeded today I was very surprised because Bobby, we've talked about this before, where Miami Dolphins were always a splash destination. Today they acted like a team with a plan. I know people are going to overreact, but they executed everything like a team that has a set plan and very Heat-like. We're going to get you at our price. If you go above that price, we're okay going another direction because we have a plan in place. So
well, Miami acted like a team that had no money because they didn't have money. And like you're absolutely right though. They do
now. They do now.
A little bit now.
No, they do now. They actually have.
Hold on. Stop. I'm talking now. Quiet.
You missed me.
The Dolphins. I know the Dolphins acted like a team different because they're acting like a team that doesn't have money, and they didn't. That's why they had to let Christian Wilkins go. As Christian Wilkins, the mistake Greer had or did in this with Christian Wilkins is that he did not come to the table earlier to work out a deal with him. He let the market set itself, and when you let the market set itself, it's gonna outplay you. Couldn't afford Christian Wilkins. He's not worth 27.5. Evan and I down it was fan appreciation weekend. We went down for the Carolina Panthers. We talked on it with Manny, Battered Fin fans, and it was for
Clock
blockers, where we talked about would we come to over 20 million. When should Greer have tried to sign him?
But
2 seasons ago.
Last year, I wouldn't.
2 seasons ago.
Either. I don't.
You knew his contract was coming up. You knew what he was worth. You knew what he was to this football team on and off the field. You should have come in sooner. But you tied yourself up with trading for and paying Tyreek Hill, trading for and paying Jalen Ramsey to make a run last year. That's what Miami did. They said, we're going to put all our chips at the table, and we're going to try to make a run. They had a very good season until the end, and they fell short, lost a wild card. Now you have to pay the bill. The bill is you lose a player like Christian Wilkins. You lose your best offensive lineman in Robert Hunt, who, I wouldn't want to pay $100 million, but I don't have $100 million to give, So he's not worth that. I wouldn't have. Me and Evan, you could. I don't know what your number was. I said 18 to 20. That was the number I was comfortable with.
He was for Robert Hunt. The year he was more like
Wilkins.
Wilkins 18 20 sounds fair.
Wilkins was more like 15 when the season started. Towards the end, I said max 20. But for me, like I told you, I knew that wasn't going to happen because Greer and the Dolphins have not re-signed a first-round defensive lineman in 16 or 17 years. They drafted the next one. And they don't have, because they're not, to them, that's not a game changer. They have not had a game wrecker. And Christian Wilkins, even in college, was not a game wrecker. When you know that on your defense, your star, your upper echelon, the guy who's going to make the most money is going to be Jalen Ramsey. Nobody's going to make more. That is it. C'est fini. That's the balance of.
Appreciate you, Bills Bunker. Thanks for subbing, brother. Appreciate you tuning in too.
Yeah. So for me, I'm not upset about Christian Wilkins.
I'm not upset. Like I said, I'm giving him 25 or 22.
I'm happy for him. But if he would have, I'll put it to you this way: if we were here today talking about the fact that Christian Wilkins was signed to that contract by the Miami Dolphins, I'd be calling for Chris Greer's pink slip.
You already were.
No, I know, but I'm saying I'm more proud of him today because I believe, and you saw me at the end of the year. I know there's one signing that I'm very content on. The rest he can do whatever he wants because in the end you're going to fill in the pieces. It is March 11th. The season doesn't start till September. People are always going to fall off. And the one thing that Miami Dolphins have that many teams don't have is they don't have $20 million coming off the books on June 1st. A lot can still happen over the next couple of months. And we're just getting started right now. And
Howard.
Well, sorry?
They have Xavier Howard's 18 million.
Yeah, no, yeah. The 18 to 20 million is coming off the books on June 1st. And by the way, they can still gain more cap space. They're going to restructure. We're not going to talk about the other signings in a few minutes, but they can go restructure. They've had a lot of restructures today in Sealer, in Smythe, in Ingold, in Ramsey, and Armstead's coming. And then we know, I believe Hill's going to get restructured. And then when Tua signs his deal, more cap space is going to come. And they were already talking about, with all the restructuring and all the adjustments, they're going to end up having probably some decent cap space next year. So it may not be as cap hell as you think. You want to know what? I'd rather Chris Greer, and I think a splash is coming. You know this, Bobby knows this, Alex, you know this. Chris Greer is going to make a splash. There's going to be a star player coming to this team, and we know it.
This has taken also, people have forgotten that, and Bob, before we go on, just real quick, people forget this also the identity of Anthony Weaver, our new DC.
Yeah,
like the signing, obviously, and I know you'll mention it. The signing of a certain linebacker that adds already to our linebacker, which is a decent run stopper, kind of shows you where it was weakness. Our linebacking core was a major, or probably our Achilles heel last year,
Yeah.
and Christian Wilkins was so much more important. They don't really feel the necessity to have that right now because their linebacking core is going to be so much better. And obviously, there's certain situations still with the draft and depth pieces that can be signed. But I'm going to give this formula a chance. I really like where they're going with it because you're kind of seeing the vision that Anthony Weaver's on board with this, and it's not like, oh no, he has to work with it because no, but he's giving his opinion.
Great point.
McDaniel values, so that they're building what they want to do.
But I like your point, Alex, is that last year is sort of like Fangio got saddled with the defense that he had. They added Ramsey, but that was at the beginning. Anthony Weaver, potentially, the way it was being built and being structured, is that he could have said, I do what we can. I have any of my players back? Like, if he really wanted a Brandon Jones or a Christian Wilkins or an Andrew Van Ginkel or that of that group, then he would have fought to at least keep one of them. The fact that they've shedded the defense between Crossan and Howard and all that means that he's looking for the kind of defense, like the kind of players we signed. Like for me today, to know that we've been able to re-sign a center, which we'll talk about, and get the linebackers, the linebacker we got today for a total of 17. Right now, it could be up to 17 million, but right now it's a total of minimum right now of $16 million on those two players. Think about that. You could keep on signing for the equivalent of Christian Wilkins. Like the players you lost, you're going to be able to get so many more players who are quality, complementary. Because what, Bobby, last year, what was the one problem we had on this team last year? That when people got injured, we lacked depth and we had to go sign people. I'd rather get multiple good players to complement our superstars. So if someone does happen to get injured, they're capable of coming in and playing versus putting your money in a star player all over the place. And then then when the person gets injured, you really have a nobody coming in to play that position. I'd rather have two decent players at a position than one star and one poor player.
Let me just say this very quick. Because first off, hello to Daniel, Sea Devil, Cat for Life in the house. Everyone who's watching, we got about 144 people tuning in, 145 through Twitter and YouTube. We appreciate you guys. If you're watching over on Twitter, hop on over to YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button. Excuse me. Is the Jackson Powers Johnson dream dead? No. Just like drafting a linebacker is not dead. What I love about what Miami is doing now, or should be doing, or looks like they're doing, is just like the Janu Smith deal. Go into the draft with as little needs as possible, so that way you're not forced to draft a player for need, that you draft best player available. If they signed Brewer, but if that means if Brewer's sitting there now, he's our quote unquote, our center. We have him at center. He could play guard. And again, don't sleep on him playing guard. If Jackson Powers is sitting there at 21, he's the best player available. Just because they have Brewer sitting there in Miami, they could still go get Jackson Powers. But it frees Miami up to either get another player available, best player, whoever that may be, whether it's a receiver or Brock Bowers or whomever, or they sit there at 21. Let's say Bo Nix is sitting there, and Miami, who did show interest or met with Bo Nix, some team says, holy crap, wait, what if Miami's interested in him? Hey, Miami, hey, Chris, I want to trade up to 21. All right, give me a second, a third, and another third. Okay, now Miami traded back, and Miami got a second and 2/3. Miami, the best thing Miami could do right now is what they did, we're going to touch on it, the two linebackers. They got the center, is to go into the draft with as little needs. So that way they're not going, now they're sitting in the 21, and we draft Jeremiah Trotter at 21 when we could have got him in the second round at pick 55. Now you're giving yourself
reach.
Yeah. But Robert Hunt, we touched on it a little bit, but so I just want to get it like this. Probably the best offensive lineman on our team, our most reliable offensive lineman on our team because he's healthy all the time. I want to say it like this. How big of a loss is this to you? How concerned are you with this, Alex? Starting with Alex and Evan.
I'm not concerned at all because I understand he was the most reliable offensive lineman that we have, and he's great as a guard. But I feel that, honestly, I'm not even discount re-signing Connor Williams. Like you mentioned, Brewer would also play guard position. Yep. Connor Williams played the guard position. So there's many flexible options that we have that there's no way in hell I'm going to tie myself down to $100 million to Robert Hunt, who went to Carolina. They're going to overpay him. They're not going to win football games this year as they don't have the same success rate or chance as the Dolphins have this year. They're building, they're rebuilding. So I just don't. If to say that I was concerned just to go with the masses would be lying to you. I'm not concerned at all. Now, it does show me that another pick from the Dolphins, a third round pick from the Dolphins of 4 years ago, just got $100 million contract in free agency. So people value and no, and not even I'm not even gonna put this on the draft. You know what? I'm gonna put this on the O-line coach, Butch Barry. That speaks volumes of him because no one was talking about Robert Hunt a year ago or 2 years ago, and all of a sudden this man just got $100 million contract, and it's a major loss for the Dolphins, the masses. So I think we're gonna find. I know they signed Robert Jones for insurance for depth, a 1 year deal. I know we got Eichenberg coming back as depth piece as well, but I still think I would not count out maybe in the second, third round pick an O line. I do believe maybe in the first round they might even go edge rusher, nose tackle, or like you mentioned, best player available. That's the best. That's my philosophy always. But I think that we have a formula in place to replace Robert Hunt and nowhere near the cost of $100 million.
Oh, Scotty, you're wrong on that, brother. You need to go do your research on Connor Williams.
Connor, man. You see,
he keeps
those are the
banging that
comments.
drum.
With all due respect, those are the comments that we're talking about. I don't know more than anybody else. I'm not trying to paint this picture, but you cannot say Connor Williams is not at the right price. He's a great option to bring back, even if you
He's
sign
one of the best. He was one of the top 5 best centers in football. So I mean, I don't understand that, and I like Scotty. I was saying Scotty and I can go back and forth all day, but that I wholeheartedly disagree with. Stop hating.
Snap the goddamn football.
Our quarterback can't hold on to the ball when he
How
snaps.
about no? But wait. What would you?
Watch
Let
the
me ask you,
replay.
Bobby.
No,
Bobby.
hey, get ready
Bobby.
when Tua's
Would you not
contract
be
comes
against it, but
Get
bringing
ready.
Connor Williams back and putting him at left guard and putting Brewer at center?
Say again. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
What would be wrong with bringing Connor Williams back at the right price, put him at left guard, and put Brewer at center?
Hey, that's the best thing about him is that they can play multiple positions. You could switch it up and put Connor there and put this guy at Brewer at left guard. I love that.
You know what
I love it.
I would just give them the random person, like both of them can play center during the game, so the defense doesn't even know who's gonna hike the ball.
You've been talking a lot. I already know what you think about it. So let's talk about Van Ginkel. What do you think about Van Ginkel?
You're
Brett?
skipping Hunt. Okay.
You misspelled Van Ginkel's name. What's wrong with you, bro?
Andrew Van Ginkel. He was that is a loss. But good for him. It's a guy who earned his contract, and maybe he just feels there's this connection with Flores, and maybe he doesn't want to learn another defense. We have to remember that a lot of players are going to come in now, and they're saying on the defense, if they're free agents, do I want to learn another defense? So for him, he has a connection with Flo, and if he feels that's the right fit for him, good for him. But he was our depth. Remember, he on our team was a depth linebacker. He was not our starter. He was not. If Phillips is there and Chubb is there, he's not our starter. So he's a depth person. So a depth player at $10 million. I guess to Greer's intelligence, I think he thinks he can do better. He can do more on the backup position with less, because what would happen with Van Ginkel if when Chubb and Phillips get back, he'd be on the bench no matter how good he is playing. So he'd be the third or fourth option on this team. You don't pay a guy who's your third or fourth option $10 million.
That's fair. That's fair, Alex.
Cap.
I agree 100%. It could come down to a scheme, a fit. It did, out of all the contracts, it would have been the most reasonable one for us to take, because it wasn't a big cap hit. It was a player that you kind of needed in a position because those players are currently injured. So when you see that, once again, you see a team with a plan, because typically a team that is panicking will sign something like this because, it's not that much money. We can cut them next year if anything. So they're operating as if they have a master plan. They're checking things off. They know we're going to lose X, Y, and Z. And realistically, yes, the defense performed well. Were we as successful as we expected last year? at times? No. Did the defense perform at times as we expected them to perform? No, just like our offense struggled. So it's a soft rebuild per se because you have a new DC. So he was just part of that. It's a new culture, and that locker room is going to have a different identity. That defense is going to have a brand new identity next year. You're talking about playmakers. You're going to talk about tough players, dogs. Like, you're going to take on the personality of your DC, and I think it's going to be a night and day difference compared to this year.
I will say this: we're going to touch on one more player who's out, but as much as I really might, if I had to pick two guys, or would have been Van Ginkel and Hunt, even though not at the number Hunt got, but if I could brought back, if I wanted to really bring back or I had a choice, I'd say those two guys. Van Ginkel was a big loss for Miami because of what he could offer. Like you said, guys go down, he comes in, he's plug and play, he gets it done. He's an impact player on our defense. 2 years, $20 million, we could have done it. It's gonna hurt. The next guy here, I'm gonna start it off, and then Evan could follow up. I'm sorry, I had Brandon Jones on there. I guess it didn't pop up, but Brandon Jones was another one that we lost today. These are all big names, that suck that we couldn't bring back. However, and I don't want to sound like I'm negating what they did for us or whatever. It would have been great to have them back. Obviously, not at that money, but also with them on our team the past few seasons. How many playoff games have we had? How many playoff games have we won? 0. That's right. So some fresh faces, different fresh faces, different places. We're talking about, people saying Chris Greer can't draft, but guys are signing these big free agent deals elsewhere. It's the same thing with the Heat. The Heat go and find some players off the street. They turn them into something, and all of a sudden the LA Lakers are overpaying Gabe Vincent, and people are going over. And then what do they turn into? It happens. It's just sometimes players are better elsewhere. They did amazing here. They're great. Now they go get their money. It happens. But maybe fresh face in a new place makes a difference for Miami coming next season. A face that will stay with us next season is Terran Armstead. He's agreed. He said he will come back, and he's restructured his deal. I haven't seen the numbers yet, but Evan, I'm going to start with you on this. When he is on the field, and that is when he is on the field, when is a key word. Obviously, one of the best left tackles in football. Kendall Lamb did a great job in place of him to start the season last year, but it is a good thing that he's coming back, hopefully on a cheaper deal. What are your thoughts about Terran Armstead?
He's a veteran. He's a leader. He's a captain. When he is playing, he's a top guy. We needed him back. You still need, even though it's a different guard tackle spot. If I had the choice between Robert Hunt and other players on the team, Teron Armstead with Austin Jackson, you need your pillars on either side to continue to grow as a team. And when Teron Armstead's there, people listen. He's a key cog on this team. You invested in him. The 3 key signings over the last couple of years have been 4 signings have been Chubb, Ramsey, Hill, and Armstead. You can't give up on them. If he wants to come back, you bring him back. And the fact that he wants to resign or he's willing to restructure, it means that he believes in this team, and he believes that he still has something to prove, and he still wants to potentially win a championship. Because a lot of offensive linemen retire early. So
no, I'm talking about Lamb last season when he came and plays with him. I don't know if the Dolphins have resigned him.
Yeah, but Kendall Lamb might want to come back.
They should, though. They should. I mean,
maybe he's looking for a starting position somewhere.
Yeah, and he could explore that. Let me go ahead.
Let's just remember, everywhere let's just put it to you this way. I want to make it very clear to everybody.
9 picks. 9 picks and $70+ million in cap. Go.
Yeah, by the way, FYI, I have to remember all these people who signed. We're going to get compensatory picks. So the fact that people say we don't have draft picks, we now are going to have draft picks at one point next year. We're for sure going to get 3rd rounders, probably for Hunt and for Wilkins, or maybe we'll get for sure a 3rd rounder for Wilkins.
And for Brandon Jones too, you probably get a 4th.
Yeah. But think about it. Brandon Jones is going to a team that's going nowhere.
Nowhere.
The Raiders are going nowhere next year. The Panthers are certainly going nowhere. The Vikings just don't have a quarterback yet. Maybe they'll go draft someone, or maybe they'll bring back someone back average. They just saw Kirk Cousins. So all to say, every place that every key player that went today went to a team that today and starting next season will be worse than the Miami Dolphins. They went to get they went to get this, but
Yeah.
they didn't get they didn't go to a team
and
where
we
they're
don't
going to make a
fault them.
difference,
We
or the
don't
team is
fault
going to
them.
be better than the Dolphins next year.
One
They went to
thing
four.
is-
They went to 4 significantly inferior football teams.
inferior football teams, yes, and teams that really right now are technically all of them are in rebuild modes.
Yep.
In some way, shape, or the other. Now the only thing is, like, I don't fault them because it's true. The NFL is not like every other sport. You have to sign your first big contract in order to guarantee generational wealth for yourself, for your family. So we understand that.
Unless
as
you're
human
Warren
beings
Sapp.
because- Exactly.
Unless you're Warren Sapp who blows it all on shoes. Remember that?
Yeah, man. Warren Sapp. I actually met Warren Sapp in person, bro. He's a pain in the ass sometimes, man. He's a little, He's
no
hard to deal
Derek
with.
Brooks. He's no
Yeah.
Rondé Barber on that team.
Oh man. Like I said, you're happy to have Armstead back. He's one of your leaders, and like you said, a marquee free agent. Obviously, you want to see the importance of how he takes care of his body in the offseason, how he prepares himself. He has the knack to pick up these, knick-knack injuries that tend to be 4-5 weeks extended. So yes, depth on his end is essential. Austin Jackson, I know he's solidified as a right tackle, so we're not going to have him moving back and forth. Eichenberg, I know he'll be back, but I think signing Lamb will be so much more security for Armstead. But the fact that he's willing to restructure and possibly within that restructure, a mini extension maybe also will be helpful. Is that commitment there? And he's still going to provide the protection that you need when healthy. So it's just making sure he's on the field as best as he can. And I trust, people talked a lot of shit about Butch Berry, but I trust the vision that he has because Bobby mentioned something about development and the improvement of players and the continuity of, you're kind of seeing the idea now. And one thing that's going to help you out also is Juno Smith. That's another situation that's going to help out this offensive line as well. And you still have Bobby's favorite player, Alec Ingold. So there are things there that you see what they're doing. And like they say, the math is mathing now. Like they're making sense of, you see what they're formulating and what the priorities are. And of course you're working within this financial spectrum where you're mixing and matching and playing, because you don't want to be in a situation in 2 or 3 years where you're the Bills and you have to release your premier, because these still aren't your premier free agents per se. Like, you didn't release Javon Holland, you didn't release Tyreek Hill. So this team also offensively is going to be much more explosive. So even the defense is going to have a little bit more breathing room.
So let me touch on a
Derrick
guy who
Henry
could,
no.
What did you say?
By the way, FYI,
Yeah.
I just
No,
so
I
you're
was just
aware of
mentioning here.
this. I know this
Daddy
is not
D,
Dolphins
with
related.
signing Derrick Henry,
I know. By the
take
way,
a
I don't know if
contract.
it's not Dolphins related, but
No, I don't think so.
remember how we talked about the Bengals? They get Joe Burrow back; they're going to be all good. Well, the fact that T. Higgins got franchised wants to be traded, and the fact that they just signed Zach Moss and they just said that Joe Mixon's is being released. Like, where are the Bengals going?
They
Like,
released Joe
everyone talks
Mixon,
about.
yeah.
That's why I want everyone to stop about Greer for a minute, because it's only March 11th. But the Bills didn't get better yet. The Jets are not better. The Patriots are for sure worse. The Ravens have lost Patrick Queen and they've lost Gus Edwards. They've lost another, I think, offensive lineman today. They've lost some players today. The Bengals just got worse. Like, all to say, everybody has to do some sort of a reset. And just because you're giving up players, I want Chris Greer to give us depth. In the end, I will be more happy with signing decent players like Jordan Brooks for $10 million. We'll get there. I'm just saying, those are the kind of signings I want to see. I don't want to see breaking the bank. There's only one player I'm willing to overpay for. Bobby knows who that is. Give him what he wants.
Tua Tagovailoa, right?
Very funny.
Give it to him, bro. Give it to him.
Okay, there's one player I want them to overpay. I'm willing to overpay it, because I said this on my last show and on the final show of the season, where I said, you sign this one player, I will be quiet about everything else that happens the rest of the year, because this is one player me and Bobby have wanted for 2 effing seasons, and he's there. He wanted to come here in 2016. You go get him. we'll all be very content. Bobby and I will be smooth sailing the rest of the year. Chris Greer, go get that one player.
Do you know who that player is, Alex?
No idea.
Running back. He wears a crown.
Oh,
Derrick Henry,
yeah,
baby.
of course. I think it's a formality at this point. Honestly, he's not going to sign anywhere else.
If he
Well,
goes to the Bills,
Baltimore's the other team. I think Baltimore's the second
Baltimore?
team.
and Buffalo.
I would have been, but Houston's the one. I don't know about Buffalo, but I
not
have a suspicion
Buffalo.
Houston could be in for it. But
He better be.
honestly, Miami was way over the cap to start the day. They lost some key players. Like right after they lost Robert Hunt, all of a sudden, towards the end of the day, right before I was about to leave to go home, all of a sudden things start freeing up. You know, they convert Jalen Ramsey's salary, I believe. I think they converted Zach Sealer. They converted so-and-so. They restructured. Even though Taron Armstead's restructure has not showed up yet. Now they cleared up the $28.78 million to get back under the cap. And now they're at $3.6 million under the cap. So not a big number, but as we've said, and something I've said earlier, I said on Fitz Talk today, and I said it on episodes before, this offseason, my preference for Miami, minus that one guy, which, of course, I don't want him to break bank either, but get him at a good signing, is do conservative signings. You don't have to break bank on any one player. Don't sign a mega star offensive guard. Don't sign a mega star linebacker. Don't do any of that. Break bank like you're doing here with these other guys you signed today. Go get them. Fill out your roster. So that way when you get at conservative signings, you still have a competitive roster. You still have some good pieces here to be competitive next year, especially with how the AFC is looking. You still have a competitive roster. Still maybe worse than it was last year at this current time, but still competitive going into next season. Go get some competitive other pieces. I saw somebody in the comments say, let Anthony Weaver cook. Absolutely. He's obviously had an impact on some of his free agent signings already. Let him go, figure that out, get some conservative pieces. That way, when you go into the draft, you could go, okay, who's the best player on our board at 21? Holy crap, it's the center. Okay, it's the tight end. Brian Thomas, wide receiver, LSU. Safety, Cam Kitchen, whoever that may be. Defensive tackle, whoever it is, you go get it. That's the best foot forward for the Dolphins. Let's talk about some free agent signings. They signed not one, but two linebackers today. Jordan Brooks and Anthony Walker. Forgive me, guys. Alex, what are you thinking about these guys, Jordan Brooks and Anthony Walker, our new linebackers for Miami? Love it, like it, hate it.
Oh, I love it. I love it because this is, like I just mentioned before, and as you hear my dog barking in the background.
Edge rusher. That's another one. Scotty's right.
Hey, they have what they're building is these guys are all massive run stoppers. Like they saw you see the attitude this defense is gonna have. You already got Ramsey behind you. You got Javon Holland. You got Cam Smith. You got playmakers, and I'm riding huge on Cam Smith this year, just in his athletic ability and the fit in this defense. The fact that they got linebackers that they can trust, and people forget David Long Jr. You put them all together there. You got speed, you got strength, you got ferocious players, and you got run stoppers, which is what we couldn't do last year. We couldn't stop the run. So now you see the identity they're taking. So I love this hire, and especially the price that it came. One of them was a 3-year, $30 million deal, was like 15 or something, 20 something guaranteed. I forgot the details. And then Anthony Walker's a 1-year deal, which I don't know the actual contract details on that. So both of them to me are bargain players, and you're letting Weaver establish his identity and for his defense. So I love this signing.
And you talk about, I know Anthony Walker was hurt a little bit last year, but he started about 12 games.
Yeah.
And I may have those numbers, but started 12 games. There are people who know him who are Cleveland fans are excited. Were angry that he left. Jordan Brooks, the same. Jordan Brooks fans were in Seattle were not happy that he left. And you plug him in with David Long. Miami has a fast, hard-hitting linebackers unit. Again, you can still get a guy in the draft. This doesn't stop you. Finn Stanza, let me run these well, let me get through the signings, then we'll run through these very quick because I definitely want to get your reactions on the overall offseason so far. But what do you think about the new linebackers for Miami?
I think they're much. I like the depth. I think I like the fact that what Jordan Brooks has done the last couple of years. He's been very consistent. These guys have played football. They're not sitting. They haven't been injured. The number of tackles that Jordan Brooks has been able to accumulate playing in Pete Carroll's defense has been great. And I think he's a better alternative than Jerome Baker was for the money he was going to cost us. Anthony Walker is more of a depth signing. I think it might spell the end for Duke Riley. It all depends on what they feel they can do, because they can actually save $2.5 million on the cap. He's actually more expensive than Anthony Walker. But overall, I'm very content because you went to go get players that fit the mentality that Anthony Weaver's probably looking for.
Give me one moment. Just want to say hi to Ralphie Boy. Ralphie Boy's in the comments there watching. I believe from the hospital. I guess I got to call him after. Hope you're doing well. Love you. Hope everything's gone well.
And they're saying the Texans to have turned their attention to Joe Mixon.
Really? Okay.
The Texans, yeah, they might make a play for him.
Every day somebody's waking up to do something.
But okay, so sorry, Evan. Go ahead. I apologize.
No. So overall, the linebacker core feels a lot different. Now I think we have to turn our attention to the defensive line, but I don't think they're done because I like these signings. Like I said,
they're not done. I don't think they're done.
I don't need superstars at every position. I want depth. I want people who can come in and out and fit into a scheme. Just because we have our stars right now. There's one star I still want, but the rest I want good, reliable, non-injury prone, competitive players who play mean, who play fast, who play strong. That's what I want. I'm telling you, I did not bat an eyelash. You know me, I overreact pretty quickly. But I did not once get upset about one player that was gone today over the last week. Now, if you were to ask me who have we retained that I'm upset with, yeah, there's two people I'm still to this day I'm very happy that I'm very unhappy that they're still on the roster. No, it's not the head coach, Bobby. There's two people that are on this roster, one coach, one player who I don't understand why they're still part of this team. Maybe they're doing it for continuity purposes, but they're both part of the same section of the team. I don't get it, but what are we going to do?
All right. So
you know who those two people are.
I will say, though, because Ralph's watching, guess? Danny Crossman
and
Tua Tagovailoa.
How they re-signed Jake Bailey when Tommy Townsend.
You're moving ahead. I asked you about the linebackers. I asked you about the linebackers.
I know, but that's what I do.
God.
Hey, I love
the linebackers.
I love Dick Riley.
I'm going to make a prediction right now.
Yeah.
Channing Tindall is finally going to break out next season.
This is the defense for him to break out.
Yes, it is.
This is the defense. This is the defense specifically designed for him to break out.
This is Channing Tindall's opportunity.
So I found out today, Alex, I'll tell you, because Ralph's in the comments, that Ralph, after I gave him the jersey, you got him. He was in love with it. I don't know if you talked to him. He said he would call you. Did he call you at all or no?
I was having trouble with my phones. I got to go through my voicemails.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to follow them.
I don't know if he did. He's in the hospital right now. But he was wearing. My mother told me today when she was telling me everything that he wore his wearing his Marlins jersey every day until his birthday. His birthday was a couple days ago. So
I'm gonna call him tomorrow morning.
He's at the hospital. So give him a shot. But anyway,
love you.
All
right. Hey, recovery. I love you, man. And when I bought that jersey, the only person I thought about was you, because I know growing up we always thought Dolphins, Marlins, and there's something about that Marlins teal that they were wearing spring training in '96, and I'll never forget this because I got to see him play in '96, and I'm talking about the Hawk, Andre Dawson. I know he didn't have any knees, but I got to see him play. I sat in the third base line, and it was an amazing moment to me. And they were wearing that same jersey. So when I saw it, I'm like, oh, I gotta get to him.
Do not. How can you tell an Expos fan who created the Hawk, who founded the Hawk?
Well,
how can you compare him to going playing in a Marlins uniform?
Also, Montreal was responsible for destroying Andrew Dawson's knees because of that turf.
Oh my God! By the way, I have walked on that stadium. I have put my knee.
Like brick.
Not the turf. It's the metal under the turf.
It's ridiculous, man.
Honestly, if you fall, you're done.
All right. So we talked on this. I like this move. Conservative signing, smart move. You could play at center, good run blocker. Yeah, he's not he's not a great passing blocker, whatever. However, the good thing about him, and I like this, I know some guys don't, the versatility. Could play center, could play guard, gives Miami an option. Again, you could draft Jackson Powers, plug Powers at center, put Brewer on guard, or plug, vice versa. Like it. We touched on it already. We'll move on. But let's just go through right now, so far, how Miami's offseason has looked. Who they've lost. They've lost Christian Wilkins, Robert Hunt, Ben Ginkel, Brandon Jones. Who they've added, or excuse me, let's say who they've released. Xavier Howard, Jerome Baker, Emmanuel Akpa, Kean Crossan. They've re-signed Elijah Campbell, defensive back, Robert Jones, offensive lineman, Nick Needham, corner, Jake Bailey, punter.
Mm-hmm.
Where's his face? Oh, he didn't give a face. I was surprised. All right. And then they've added, there it is. They've added Janu Smith, tight end, who I like a lot. Smart move by Miami. Jordan Brooks, good move. Aaron Brewer and Anthony Walker Jr. So that's
Alex.
Great.
Alex, you know what's amazing about this whole thing? He actually read all those names and didn't butcher one.
Not once, man. I was impressed.
Isn't that impressive? He said them really quickly and he didn't butcher one name.
Yeah, and that's me all stuffed up, and I'm still getting it.
Mispronounce one.
I know. Now it's right on Alex's face.
We drafted a couple years ago. What's his name?
So I know this is to get people rolling and going and going. I know where it's headed, but not going to do that. But I'm going to start with Evan, and then I'll let Alex. Well, no, let me start with Alex, and then we'll roll into and we'll get it to Evan. All right. So Dolphins, Tua, no secret, talking extension. All right. Just because they really have to. There's, Miami, he's playing on his 5th-year option, so they're going to try to work out a deal where they could sign him so he's comfortable. They don't start the season without a quarterback in case he decides to hold out. Whether you think Tua is worth $50 million, $30 million, $20 million, whatever, the fact that it matters is what Alex said earlier. He has to take care of his family. He has to do right by him. He has led the league or been in the top with his stats. So, and you see what Baker Mayfield got, you see what Kirk Cousins is getting. So whether you think he's worth it just by association. So Miami's still trying to work it out. They supposedly this deal could go all the way into next preseason, into the current, into next season, which I think Miami wouldn't want to do, but they've kind of warned it could happen. However, could average reportedly up to $50 million a year. Alex, I know we all know how you feel about Tua. You like Tua. It's a starting quarterback. You love Tua. You have your stuff about him, but you do. $50 million a year. Is he worth it?
Yes, absolutely. And that's the going rate. To me, the most important part here is the language in his contract. The length of the contract, obviously the amount of guaranteed money, the amount of upfront money that he's going to get if it's a bonus. I'm pretty sure they're working all those situations in. I understood why they did not negotiate an extension last year. You want to make sure he's healthy. You can tell he's done everything the organization has asked of him. We understand his shortcomings. I'm not as big in the over analytical of his shortcomings because I did see Tua play in Alabama. I saw Tua play his first couple years in the NFL, and I still feel, and this is just my opinion, that we're finally going to get a free Tua where he's just playing football. The goal this year was not to get hurt. Can he play 16 games? Can he play the whole season? He did that. Can he get the ball out quick? This offense is going to be catered to him. Design. He played in the offense. He led the league in passing yards, right? A QBR, or if I'm not mistaken, or top 3 in QBR. He had his best statistical season. Did he have shortcomings along the way? Did he ever have a full healthy O-line? No, he did not. Was he focused too much on Tyreek Hill? Yeah, and by default, that's also on Mike McDaniel. Is he going to benefit from all these signings, the depth in the O-line, a more diverse offense? a run block oriented offensive line where they're going to use a chain in the right way. They're going to use Mostert. They're going to use Henry if we sign him the right way. They're going to use Juno Smith the right way. This is all opening up for Tua where you see the writing on the wall. Tua is their quarterback. You have to sign him now. The market is going to continue to go up. He's not going to risk playing on a fifth year, on his fifth year option, because obviously you risk many situations, injuries and all that. You have, to me, I still draft a quarterback. We always talked about this. Even if with Mike White, obviously he's not your future backup. I understand with Skylar Thompson. If you have a talented quarterback available, you always draft them, fifth round, sixth round, whatever the case may be. So you want to have also quality depth behind them. In the given case something happens, you're not missing a beat. But Tua is your quarterback. He's going to be your quarterback for the foreseeable future. They're going to get the deal done. I said it like a month ago, 2 months ago. It's just the language in the contract. Make it a formality. And this offseason, what you want him to work on is he going to lose some weight? I think so. I think he has to lose weight. But the way he's built, he can last the whole season and still be an out-of-pocket quarterback, and he still has a strong arm. So they're building around him. He is your quarterback. Get the deal done. And people are going to overreact either way. So I still believe it's going to be in the $52, $53 million range. They'll settle for that because I know they're going to push for more because statistically, he can justify asking for the highest contract unless you're Patrick Mahomes. But they'll probably settle in the 52, 53 range. Annual average.
Evan, go ahead. Your thoughts on this, and I want to make a point because I saw this comment here. You don't have to react to this comment. I just want you to talk about this. But I just want to touch on this. We see here. Damn, I thought I had it here, but I know it just said Tua $50 million will sink. Tua sinks the ship at $50 million. I just want to touch on that right after you talk about the extension. Go ahead.
The extension for me, I think Greer is being very strategic about it. For me, it's less about the overall contractual value. It's more about the guaranteed money, because in the end, that's what affects you. It's not because if he doesn't work out in 2 years and you cut him, it's about what you still owe him, not what's still on the book. So for me, whether it's 50, whether it's 55, I don't care. He's going to be our quarterback next year. Yeah. And if he and McDaniel don't perform, because I think they're tied to each other's hips, I've always said that that he's really, McDaniel has set his course with Tua. He keeps on reiterating it. He keeps on doubling and tripling down on Tua and believes in him. So in the end, it's not about the actual contract. When they do it, I don't care. How they do it, I don't care. But if, let's say, they were to sign him to a 4-year, $220 million contract, and I find out that more than $100 million or $105 million, or if more than 50% of the contract is guaranteed, that is when I will have grave concerns about Greer's desperation and what was he thinking. Because with his injury history, with the longevity of his size, the fact that he doesn't move fast, the fact that watching him run is like watching somebody who is more doing sumo wrestling than he is playing quarterback. For me, Yokozuna runs faster than that guy, okay? Bam Bam Bigelow runs faster than that guy, okay? Big Show runs faster than this guy if he runs a wrestling. So for me, it's all about the guaranteed money. I won't be bothered if it's 50 because the market went, because the 50 million this year is Daniel Jones's 45 last year. So because the cap went up. So in the end, for me, I'm less worried about the actual contractual number. I'm more worried about the guaranteed money.
And I just want to say, because Anthony was saying here, this is idiotic. This is the worst mistake this franchise has ever made. I doubt that. This kid has not earned $50 million a year as a starting quarterback. He is not Joe Burrow, Pat Mahomes, or Herbert. Kirk Cousins signed a $180 million deal for 4 years with $45 million a year. Would that make you feel better?
And this is his mid-30s.
I know, absolutely. And I like Kirk Cousins. I'm not hating on him. Yeah. Point being, though, in his late 30s, is he better than Tua?
Nope.
Tua's young. What did Baker Mayfield sign for? Is it 30?
30. It's $100 million over 3 years.
3 years,
Okay.
$100 million. Yeah, that's a bargain deal for him.
Okay, so you got to understand. Kirk is an upgrade. If you say he's an upgrade, I just say he's a veteran presence, maybe smarter with the ball. I don't know if you want to say it like that, but $50 million will sink the ship. The NFL has to do something. Listen, Tua's going to get $50 million a year, whether you like it or not, unless, of course, the Dolphins figure something out. Whether you think he's worth it or not, just because the type of player he is and where he is statistically, how the NFL views him, not as the fan, the armchair quarterbacks, armchair GMs, how the NFL views him, and just basically what quarterbacks are making nowadays. Baker Mayfield got 3 years, $100 million deal.
After
Baker
one
Mayfield.
decent year. That wasn't that. That was so fantastic.
And you could go through the NFL, look at all these quarterback deals, and you're going to find even crazier numbers. Every year it goes up. This echelon of quarterbacks, every year their numbers go up. So whether you think personally he's worth that money, doesn't matter, because the fact of the matter is it's just what his position is being paid. I think the real issue is about sinking the ship. It's not Tua who sinks the ship or his contract. The NFL has to do something about quarterback salary against the cap. There's no reason why that if the Chiefs give Pat Mahomes the money he's earned, the money his position values, this position value, the money that position values at, that it should totally kill his football team. Or the Dolphins say, hey, you know what? Because people go, oh, we lost Christian Wilkins for Tua. I don't believe that. However,
what is one thing?
That should not have that. There should be no reason why Tua's contract, or especially a quarterback, because that number is so inflated, should impact the team as much as it does. There has to be some way, somehow, the NFL says, okay, we have a lot of quote-unquote star quarterbacks, Josh Allen. I'm talking about those premier guys, not even elite. But you got Allen, yeah, you got Mahomes, you got Lamar Jackson, you got Joe Burrow, Tua, Herbert, etc. Those guys, no matter how much they've done in that little bit of time, are going to get $50 million a year because that's what's owed. Tua's not a backup quarterback. He is in the echelon starting quarterback. What do you think? He's elite, great, good, average? He's a starting quarterback at a high caliber. He's going to get $50 million. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Tua's going to kill us with his salary cap. He's earned that just based off his position and where he's put himself statistically. Hate the game. The NFL needs to do something about the quarterback's cap hit. It's crazy that one position could totally F up a whole team's cap. Because what are you supposed to do? Every 4 years say, okay, now I got to trade my quarterback and let me go ahead and get a new guy and try to build up. No. They have to figure something out. Let's look at the Dolphins team instead of Tua. Exactly. That's my thing too. Yes, it starts and ends with the quarterback. That's been said, and I get it. The quarterback position could kill you on some days, and there has been times that Tua finished a game, could cost us a game. But you could win a playoff game with Tua as your starting quarterback. You could win a Super Bowl with Tua as your starting quarterback. As much as no one wants to believe that, you could. Here's the key. Dolphins have to put up a winning football team that could win sometimes in spite of Tua. Teams have done it. Look what the San Francisco 49ers were able to do last year. Look at what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did with Brad Johnson years ago, or Trent Dilfer, or whatever. And I'm not saying Tua's those guys, but when people say, oh, Tua's trash, teams have won with trashier quarterbacks. And I'd say Nick Foles is one, but Nick Foles, a backup, won a Super Bowl with the Eagles. It's happened. And make sure I'm not missing in the comments. Scott Cousins is 1-4 in the playoffs. Cousins is not an
and
option.
You can't pay people based on past production. You're paying people
Kurt,
be bringing to you the table for the next 4 to 5 years.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
Let me just let me just say this. And first off, everybody knows how I've had my critiques and how I view it. First of all, Kirk has made it to multiple NFC championships with the Vikings. The kid hasn't won. Compare the Vikings roster to the Dolphins. Go. Yeah, you're not on. So let me tell you what. The Dolphins have not won a playoff game in how many years?
24.
Yeah, Tua's only been the one playoff game. So we're going to count one game against Tua. He's never won a playoff game. He's trash. He hasn't done it. But it's like it's one playoff game. It's one playoff game.
With Tua, unfortunately, with Tua, it's always going to be this until he wins or until he's no longer in town.
Bingo.
And it genuinely bothers me that you know what genuinely bothers me, because like I said, I'm not telling everybody how to fan, because I really don't care how anybody fans. To me, it's just the overreaction on Twitter or on people speaking from their opinions, which, number one, no shit about our opinions. We're just talking here. We're having fun. We're not running these organizations. Do we feel sometimes that we can run professional sports organizations? Yeah, at times we do. But we can't right now. Why? Because they have a squad. They have scouts. They have advisors. They have senior VPs of talent. They have communication department, blah, 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 etc. Personnel department. When you make a move and you think you're always right, and you are going to react, and we did this, but we should have done that. And then even in the season when there is success and you start seeing it, and you cannot be blinded from the ups and downs, from injuries, from success, from failures of a certain moment. Like that's for us, everybody. Oh, two of this, two of that. And we could all go back. Oh, the defense collapsed against Tennessee. We lost that game. We would have the first seed secured. Blah, blah, blah. We can go back and forth the whole season doing those things. Why don't we just relax? This is the first day of free agency. What was it, like 10 hours of free agency? Let's let it play out. We'll talk after the draft. We'll see how this team looks. And then you still, no matter what you do in the offseason, what do you got to do? You got to produce in season. And we have a new DC. There's a new identity. People are going to continue. And then I guarantee you, and Bobby, you'll probably have a show, the moment Tua signs a contract, Twitter will go apeshit. And we're telling you, it's going to happen. Tua will sign an extension in the foreseeable future. It might prolong a little bit because they're working out of the language, but he will sign an extension this year. Thank you. That's it. I'm good.
So, you know, what did I say? What did I say? Jose?
It was still not going to get done. He wanted too much money, man. People continue to say that. It was not going to get done.
He wanted Justin Simmons. He wanted to put Justin Simmons and Quentin Williams on it.
It was not going to get done. The Dolphins were not going to pay him that amount of money, whether it was last year, 3 years ago, this year.
Okay, stop. Miami wasn't going to do that money because they didn't have the money. That's why.
No,
not because Alex, stop. Alex, you said it already.
Come on, man.
You talked already. You can make didn't have the money. Alex, shut up. Shut up. Quiet. Stop talking. What do you work for Chris Greer? What do you work for him?
No, dude.
Does he give you money or something?
No, it's not. Like $60 million in cap space in a second. Relax. Bro.
Oh wow, they got $3 million over the cap. $3 million. Round of applause. They got $3 million under the cap. Wow, dude. Wow. Did they have the money to extend him? No. That's why they couldn't do, because they traded draft picks and gave a mega contract to Tyreek Hill. How many playoff wins did that get you?
Okay.
0. They traded for Jalen Ramsey. They got draft picks, gave him a big contract. How many draft picks did that? How much playoff wins did that get you? 0. So let's be realistic. Don't act like it's a big offense to say Miami didn't have the money. They didn't have the money. That's fact. They didn't have the money.
Miami doesn't have the money right now to sign any free agents.
Because look who they give the money to.
Because they just created cap space. If they wanted to give Christian Wilkins a deal, they would have restructured. To run.
I'm not saying. No. Shush. I'm not saying that they should have given him 27.5. No. Let me talk. I'm not saying they should have given him. Shut up. I'm not saying they should have given him 27.5 million. I didn't say they were supposed to give him 27.5 million. But don't act like, oh, they didn't do it because they were being smart. They didn't do it because they didn't have the money. That's it.
Here we go again without the money.
Okay. What? Did they have the money, Alex? Alex, did they have the money?
They did not have
Did they have
the
money?
money this
There you go.
year
There you go.
to do anything.
You're wrong.
You
That's it.
create the money
You're done. You're
when
done.
you
Stop
want
talking.
to sign the player. You
Uh-huh.
create the
No.
money when you want to
No,
sign the
but
player.
not when you don't have the money. When you go trade it for another team's player and gave him 58, whatever much money you gave him. Not when you did that. Now you lost your draft pick. So please, you can shake your head all you want, do all this crap that you're doing there, but you're making no sense in your life.
I'm making no sense? Okay.
You're not. You know, it's crazy. I'm not saying pay him the 27.5, but you're saying, oh, they were smart, man. 2 years ago, they knew, and they're working out this deal. No, they traded a bunch of money and draft picks for players, and now they can't save their own players because they didn't have that money. That's it. Whether they could afford them or not.
Your wives both called me to both put you in a timeout. By the way, you know what's funny? I'm sitting here. Think about this. Me, Finstanza, is the one sitting here being the calm voice of reason.
It's the off season, man. It's the off season.
Fly.
All right. So,
did we ever get the numbers for the actual offer that we did for them? For Hunt and
no,
Wilkins?
I have to assume. I have to assume
We don't have
Christian
the
Wilkins
numbers?
was. I have to assume it was under. It was 20. I think I heard 20 million. That's what I heard. Around 20 million. They offered him.
Wow.
Money spent was all. Money spent. We was all in last year. Exactly. They were trying to go all in, and it's just what it is. Now you got to pay the bill. That's why it's called "quote unquote" soft reset.
But every team is soft resetting.
Yeah.
But stop. Every offseason, a team soft resets. But I'm talking about
San Francisco.
No, but this year was
Eric Armstead.
This year was a lot of players. This year was a lot of teams that I was surprised.
Well, everyone is
by.
cutting it. Have you seen the safety market? Have you seen the corner market? It's crazy. The
Well,
running back
Brian
market.
Burns got for the Giants. You saw what Brian Burns got for the Giants? $150 million. That's insane.
And they gave up a third and a fifth for him.
That's insane, man.
And they'll lose some key players they drafted a couple years from now because they're trying to get some big trade, and that's what happens.
And who's their quarterback?
About the market,
Daniel Jones.
No,
Daniel Jones.
They're gonna go. They have to go another route, right? They're gonna. That's my surprise move. Like Daniel Jones will not be the starting quarterback for the Giants this year. Is it even possible, or am I just talking out of my ass?
He will be.
Oh man, you see. Okay, would you rather have Daniel Jones at $45 million or Tua Tagovailoa at $53 million against your cap? Because I just don't see any light with Daniel Jones at all.
Neither do I. Ooh,
no, but you see, here's the thing. See, that's a key point I was bringing about Tua earlier. What I was saying about Tua earlier, you could believe that he's worth that or not. The fact is, players like Daniel Jones, who again we can say, oh, he's not worth it. It's not about what he's worth. It's what the position is worth. You don't go and say, okay, bye, Daniel, and then go say, all right, Tyrod Taylor's our starter. Now you're not giving your team a chance. Just because Daniel is probably the better starter and he's all you could get, you got to give him that money because that's what his position is worth. You know.
Yeah. And
so
you see, when you mentioned it looks like you can have a structure. Obviously, you take into account like comparing it to the NBA where you have like max slots. Like you can have you in the NBA realistically, you can have the only thing I don't think Bobby is ever going to happen. And Evan, maybe you can help me out with this one. I don't think the NFL will ever have a true like penalty system if you go over the salary cap because there's some owners that will just whatever, I'll pay whatever. Jerry Jones will pay.
Saints have been doing it for years. The Saints have been doing it for years.
So there are things that you have a structure in place where your cap is way more than an NBA team, but you have 53 players. Now, arguably, the highest paid player on your team should be your quarterback. It's the leader, quote unquote, that has the ball in his hands every single play on offense. So you can understand that. Now, it really comes down to team building, but the market really, even quarterbacks when they were making $30 million a year and running backs too, but all of a sudden, when defensive tackles, guards, when those markets, that's the market that scares me because it seems like there's an inflation in the guard market right now. When I saw Robert Hunt actually get 3 digits, I know it's not all guaranteed, but I'm like, he got $100 million contract. When was the last time we saw a guard sign? And I know this year there was another guard already that signed for like was it 93 or like 87 million?
But by the way, Damian Lewis just got $53 million from the Panthers. Now that means that the Panthers have just spent $153 million to protect Bryce Young. Now, if we spent $153 million to protect Tua, we'd all go bananas.
Wow.
But a lot of fans are calling for Miami to go and invest in their offensive line.
We have Butch Berry. That's all that matters. And what did people think of Butch Berry? What did people think about Butch Berry when we first signed him?
The same way they're thinking about our linebackers coach.
Exactly.
And look who we got. I'm telling you, that linebacking core is going to surprise a lot of people, man.
And I want to say, everyone who was watching, just to reiterate, this is East 10th Street Boys straight out of Hialeah. That's not the first time me and Alex go at each other like that. We're brothers, grew up together.
Usually it's off screen.
Yeah. And it's usually that way, Bobby, your yelling made me come back to the show. You're welcome. That wasn't yelling. That was just talking firmly.
That was loud speaking.
That's I have to talk over a Cuban who's at extra volume in his voice. I won't just accept. That's what's crazy too.
Oh my God. By the way, Alex, he tells me to shut up on a regular basis. But see, he just tells you to shut up. He tells me to shut the F up. So
yeah. You can't let him, because that's his move. He likes doing that. When he tries
No.
I know.
No.
I'm just fucking with you.
Don't go there. Don't do it. You fucker. Don't do it. Don't do it.
It's all fun, bro. It's part, I love that it's part of like the gimmick of the show. It's like they're going like, shut up.
It's the move when somebody doesn't let me talk. Toddy goes, it's his move. She's stating stuff she doesn't even know what the hell she's talking about.
Like he'll do the shut up. Toddy, laugh on this one. I know she's gonna laugh on this one. Or like, like shut up, and then point the finger with a pen right there. Right? Does he do that to you, Evan?
Yes.
Don't be hating.
No. What do I get? Is the job finished? Is the job finished? Is the job finished? Is the job finished? Is the job finished?
Yeah, that's true, though. Is the job finished? That is true. Everybody, give him an apology. Was the job finished? It's still not damn finished.
Are we a quarterback? Are we still a quarterback away?
We're a GM away.
Well, here we go.
Here we go again. Oh my God, the GM.
What's the problem?
Oh,
I ain't in trouble. I never get in trouble. I don't care.
Bean is having a great day today. The Bengals are having a great day today with T. Higgins wanting to be traded, and Joe.
Well, here's the thing. Where do you think T. Higgins is going to go? Somebody asked me that today. I have a team in mind, but if you had to say a team, where do you think he can go? T. Higgins.
T. Higgins.
Shit. Texans.
Dallas.
That's funny. We all have different teams. I say Kansas City.
Dallas.
I think Kansas City.
Opposite of CD Lamb.
That's scary. That's scary. That would be scary, dude.
The problem is, I think T. Higgins though wants number. The problem is that if he goes to Kansas City, yes, he may. The thing is, I don't think they'll ever invest in that because they're always going to go to Kelsey, and they have Rashid Rice. But the thing is that he wants to be number one. That's the thing. I think he needs to be with a duo, but I think he wants to be number one. So you have to find a team that truly does. Like honestly, if I'm him, he might end up in Carolina. You never know. Like he just wants to be the number one receiver.
Devontae Parker.
The guy Devontae Parker is like Lloyd Christmas trying to take his tongue off the Meadows chairlift. He can't. He's stuck to the defender. He's stuck to it.
I see him maybe going.
I've never seen a guy not get separation like that in my life.
What do you say, Alex?
If he gets married, he'll never get divorced because he'll never be able to separate.
Evan, let Alex talk.
No,
he'll never get divorced because he can't separate.
Bob, you didn't find that funny?
I didn't hear it. I was
Devontae Parker will never get divorced because he doesn't know how to separate.
Wow. Damn.
I've never seen a guy be able to run a route and never separate from his defender.
I've never seen him. I've seen him catch some jump balls, but I've never seen him separate.
But he can't separate.
Yeah.
Jump balls. True. But what team do you think, Alex? I'm sorry.
an outside chance for the Chiefs, since they do need like a tall possession receiver for some of those, and he might be able to separate due to the fact that Kelsey and Rice and all that. But I don't know, man, because at this point he's just a 1-year deal. You you can't give him a multi-year deal. It's more one of those one proven deals, and maybe he gets another contract. But Jets, Jets, it could be. I mean, the Bills lost Gabe Davis, so
Yeah. Or Jacksonville.
I wonder
So,
how the
Evan-
Diggs situation like it ends up with the Bills, because the Bills are a year away from having like no core pieces aside from Allen.
The Bills will never lose.
I want to see
never win.
Baltimore Ravens is the current favorite to land Derrick Henry.
Oh, please, because of Justina Anderson, she's never right. They offered him $6.5 million. If you go, anyone who the first person to offer him $8
Only
to $10 million,
6.5.
They're offering him $6.5 million on a 1-year deal.
Who the Ravens?
The Ravens are offering Derrick Henry. He won't take that.
Oh, we could do a 1-7.
Okay,
7,
do you think
7.5.
Derrick Henry is going to take $6.5 million when Saquon Barkley got 17? He will not take less than 10.
But Saquon Barkley got what, a 3-year, 30?
3 years, like six, almost like he got like an almost like 16, 17 million a year.
A year?
Pro Football Network rates Miami number 1 for free agency losers today. Miami's number 1, Dallas number 2, Chargers number 3, and Patriots number 4.
Do you know what I think about that?
That's
Absolutely nothing.
Day 1, they're talking about March 11th. You think I care?
Crazy, bro. Now the real thing is, what do you think Aaron Jones? Because Aaron Jones, if I'm the Ravens, I'm looking at Aaron Jones.
Well, they're looking at someone.
Can I ask you guys a really simple question? Who's the number one?
Yes.
Who's one of the top 1 or 2 wide receivers in the NFL? What's his name? If you had to pick, who's one of the top 1 or 2 wide receivers in the NFL? What's his name?
Tyreek Hill. And
who's one of the top 1 or 2 corners in the league?
Snead.
You're Jalen Ramsey. I know where you're going.
The point is that as long as you teams have foundational players, just because no one today was a foundational player that God, I am terrified that this. Oh my God! You think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are nervous next year? You think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? You think are nervous because they have to go against Robert Hunt and Damian Lewis next year, and they have to give up $153 million? You think that people on the Rave next year when they face the Raiders? Do you think that they're gonna? Do you think that Mike McDaniel and Frank Smith and that team next year, when they plan to face the Raiders next year, because we will be facing the Raiders next year, do you think they're worried about Christian Wilkins or Max Crosby? Max Crosby is the game wrecker. It's not Christian Wilkins. Brandon Jones is a complimentary piece. Van Ginkel is a complimentary piece. They got big money, $250 million worth of contracts. That's bananas. Bananas. And by the way, people are saying, "Oh my God, we're losers." But with these players on our team the last couple of years, what did we win? So that means you better try. I'm happy Greer didn't re-sign them because he has to try something else because these players don't seem to be winners.
So let's do this. The top 10 remaining NFL free agents, according to Pro Football Network. Derrick Henry is not on this list. However, I want you to keep him off your mind. Okay. So out of these guys, if you could have one player on this team, on this list to add to the Dolphins, who would it be? All right. Calvin Ridley, wide receiver.
Nope.
Shut up. Let me get through it. Calvin Ridley, Jonah Williams, offensive tackle, Cincinnati. Chase Young, edge rusher, San Francisco. Darnell Hunter, edge rusher, Vikings. Eric Armstead, D tackle, played for the Niners. Kendall Fuller, corner, Commanders. Cameron Curl, safety, Commanders. Patrick Queen, linebacker, Ravens.
He was signed. He was signed today.
Was he signed? It's still on there 2 minutes ago.
I thought people rumored that he was going to the Seahawks. Not confirmed?
No. Kyle Duggar, safety, New England, and DJ Reader, defensive tackle, Cincinnati. No, this list just came out 2 minutes ago, so unless Pro Football Network is wrong, I haven't seen him sign with anybody. But Alex, listen to those names. Is there any name that jumps out to you?
For the right price, Armstead, the D tackle from the 49ers.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
That's my guy.
I still think we're going to address in the draft. I'm really leaning to that first pick being a D tackle or an edge rusher. I know we got Chubb and Phillips, but I out of all, because Patrick Quinn's not a reality anymore because we already signed the Seahawks. Is the last name Brooks?
That doesn't mean anything. You could sign him too.
You have the money to sign Patrick Quinn?
Why not?
He's gonna get more money. He's gonna get more annual average.
I think these last two moves that we got here, Jordan Brooks, Anthony, whatever his last name is, and Jordan Brooks, kind of negates the Patrick Queen
the Patrick
deal.
Queen, yeah.
I think it doesn't negate a draft pick on a linebacker, but
Exactly.
I think it takes you out of that market. Now, Eric Armstead, that could possibly go down, especially at the right price. He's familiar with some of the guys on the staff in Miami. Makes a lot of sense. Calvin Ridley is a name I think is interesting. Familiar, obviously, with Tua. I think would fit that offense.
Calvin Ridley goes to the Chiefs. If Calvin Ridley goes to the Chiefs, it's
the only reason the problem with Calvin Ridley is that one day he's gonna get a notice to arrive at Hard Rock, and unfortunately he won't be going to Hard Rock Stadium, but we go to Hard Rock Casino. That's the problem with Calvin Ridley. He will make the wrong turn. He'll get off at US.
That's messed up.
That's the problem. He ain't getting off at Ives Dairy and driving down towards the turnpike. He's going to get off at US 441, make the wrong turn off the 595, and he's going to end up at the Hard Rock. That's how well I know Florida. He's going to make the wrong turn.
Yeah.
When you tell him Hard Rock, he's going to think casino. He ain't going to think stadium. But anyway, this is why don't you miss me?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
That's a good one, eh?
Let's see here.
He's going to see that big guitar hotel off US 441, and he's off when he's living in Fort Lauderdale, and he's going to go, oops, I just need 5 minutes, Mike McDaniel. I have to stop at the other Hard Rock.
Let's go around. Let's do something else here. Alex, time change. Did it mess with you? Mess you up at all this weekend?
Not. It didn't mess me up. I just don't like the new time because I feel you don't rest as much. I understand the extended day is great. You have more outdoor activity, but when you wake up, like you feel like sometimes I feel less productive because you wake up and it's still dark out here. Obviously, we got to wake up early. We got to take the kids to school. Got to go to work. So I love the old time. I don't like this time change. I know progressively your body just gets used to it. We had a basketball tournament this weekend, so either way I had to wake up early no matter what. So but the start time wasn't so early that I felt the effect. So I still woke up like around 8:30, which was really like 9:30. So it wasn't like that massive, like oh shit, like I gotta wake up an hour earlier.
Sami Zayn is going to WrestleMania.
Oh, really?
He won.
He's going to go to face Gunter.
Yeah.
Kansas City Chiefs have had contract talks with speedy wide receiver Curtis Samuel.
That's a good signing for them if they do.
Yeah, and in the I guess. Let me see here. Trying to make sure I don't miss anything. Minnesota Vikings have interest in former running back for the Packers, Aaron Jones.
That would be great for them, honestly. That is a nice piece. I just want to know. I want to know who's they're going to be the quarterback.
So I like this. Thank you, Scotty. That's a great question, my man, and thank you for taking us off topic. Today was been a little crazy, so we're only talking free agency. So I didn't have a chance to do the off-topic stuff. So I appreciate this. Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. Who do you got? Man, I know, I don't know why those guys why he always wins, but I'm rolling with Mike Tyson. I'm not going against the champ. Mike Tyson, one of the greatest of all time, and congratulations to the greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali. Rest in peace. Will be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. But it's hard for me to pick against Mike Tyson. I'm not hating on Jake Paul. I think him and his brother, what they've done. First off, they're great athletes, but what they've been able to do, respectively, is respectable, and commendable. But Mike Tyson's going to eat that dude alive. I don't care how old or how whatever he is, past his prime. Dude's a monster. He still knows what to do and how to do it. I hope a knockout, but I can see it going, I could see it going the distance, but I would pick Mike Tyson. Alex, what do you think, man?
Well, I'm going to take Tyson, but and don't get me wrong, Paul's a decent boxer. He's way better than I ever thought.
For sure, 100%, 100%.
But if it goes to, how many rounds is it?
I'm not sure. I don't have it in front of me. Hopefully one of the guys could.
If it starts going into late rounds, then you obviously endurance, stamina. Mike Tyson is still Mike Tyson, but he's not 30-year-old Mike Tyson. He's 50. Was he 50? 60? How old is Mike Tyson? Like 55, 60? But
yeah, he's old. I don't know.
I'm gonna take Mike Tyson because all it takes Mike Tyson is just one shot. Mike Tyson connects on the right spot on Paul, and he's done. I don't care age or anything because Mike Tyson is still the most pound for pound, the
57.
most powerful boxer ever.
57 years old.
Bro, Mike Tyson can knock you out in a second. Like, there's no we're done.
So
I'm gonna say Tyson.
But there's one guy, no one overrated. There's one guy who could take Tyson.
Who? Holyfield?
No. In his prime, no. I watched him. He was sort of Canadian. I watched him throughout his time there. The one guy who, because of his size, was Lennox Lewis. That was one boxer.
Lennox Lewis.
Oh, those were the best. Those were the best.
That was were the golden years, dude. I mean, I remember going.
Lennox Lewis was quite a fighter.
I used to love going to when I used to go to my dad's house for the weekend, and he ordered either the WCW pay per view or he'd order a boxing fight, and we'd watch Lennox Lewis, Evander Holyfield, Mike Tyson. I mean, that's when the world championship meant something. Yeah, the heavyweight title. Now it's like, the WBC. Now it's like George Foreman was my favorite. Old George Foreman was my favorite to watch because bigger guy, older, won the championship. I love George Foreman.
But which George Foreman? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7? Because he has kids who are all named 1 through 7.
Oh no, I'm talking about the dad,
or the grill,
Talking about the dad.
But you know he made more money with the grill than he ever did in boxing. You know how much money he made with that grill?
Did you hear? You heard the Hogan story?
Yeah, it was Hogan. Yeah, Hogan missed out on it. Yeah, Hulk Hogan missed out on it. Yeah. Tough life. Yeah, he would have made all that money.
Can you imagine that, bro? Hulk Hogan grills.
Hogan's grills.
Talk about wrestling and staying on that. Evan, you and I haven't talked obviously about it, but how are you liking the road to WrestleMania so far?
Road to WrestleMania, I think, is the dumbest storyline I have ever seen in my life.
Which storyline?
The fact that they're engaging with Rock, but he's now the head of TKO. They're sort of like teasing Triple H and with all that, even though he can't wrestle anymore. The fact that you're expecting Seth Rollins to fight night 1, he's going to get his butt kicked in night 2. Oh, The Rock is going to potentially win on the first night, but then he's going to turn on Roman the next night. Like, I feel like this whole thing is kind of ridiculous. Like, it's kind of stupid. Like, I'm more looking forward to at this point the Gunther and Sami Zayn match, or the Jey Uso, because it got announced tonight, Jimmy versus Jay, or those kind of matches. Or Bailey going. Like, I rather see those matches. Like, this match, they've soured. Like, you're supposed to have the WWE Championship and the WWE Universal title be the prime matches, and they've basically made them like irrelevant. They look stupid. There's going to be interference. You're not going to have interference in the Intercontinental match. You're not going to have interference in the U.S. Championship match. You're not going to have interference in the tag team matches. You're not going to have interference in the women's match. You're going to have interference in this match. And it's so dumb, and it's ridiculous, and it's annoying, and it bothers me.
I will say We
And
use
The
the
Rock
word
is past the
soft.
prime. Rock doesn't belong here anymore. I'm sorry.
Oh, I disagree. I think The Rock's been great.
The guy owns the XFL or the United Football League, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
He's on the board of TKO. We don't need another Vince McMahon. I don't need a guy who literally there's so much talent in the WWE. I do not need a guy to come out and waste 20 minutes of my time walking down the aisle, calling people walking emojis when you don't need it. There's so much great talent there. I want to see more of Braun Breaker. I want to see more of the. My point is, I want to see more of the storylines of actual wrestlers.
You get to see them after WrestleMania. They haven't earned that right to be where The Rock is standing. The Rock is The Rock.
Okay, I'll put it to you this way: if The Rock, I don't need The Rock there. I want to see Stone Cold there. He wants to control what's going on. Fine. I don't need him in the match. I don't need him in the match. It's stupid. It's annoying.
No, I think
it's a waste of time.
I disagree. I was going to say I do agree with you. We talked about soft reset a lot tonight, but
Rock is
I think the WWE needs to do a soft reset on the World Championships. They have to make them more important. Just like boxing with the IBC and WBC, they have to figure out to make those titles more important. Seth Rollins being involved in this tag match to me is a mistake. They should have Austin involved in this or do something else.
Said that.
I said it to you yesterday on the phone. You're just taking my point.
Well, you thought I was
anyway.
You thought I was listening yesterday.
Let me mute his mic for a second. This is but in regards to The Rock, obviously he's been very entertaining when he's on the mic. Hollywood Rock is a lot of fun. Obviously, I think they fumbled it. I don't know if they meant to do it or not. They're going to pretend that they did. I think they fumbled it. How they brought this whole storyline about. They could have done it better. However, I think he's been a great addition. But I think in regards of the did I do that during your opinion or you just? I mean, Jesus. What, Bobby? What? Disrupting. I'm not being a dictator. People are talking over. And getting rid of. See, I only watched WWF a long time ago now. Stop meeting people. I will if they're talking. No, it's not free speech. Not on my network. It's my network. I'm the head of the table. I'm the tribal chief of Roman Reigns. I could never get into WWE wrestling growing up. So I always had an attitude towards it being young. Me and Alex wrestled growing up too. He grew up in that instance. I did not. I still like wrestling, especially now that my kids love it. So I get to watch it. Or I get to enjoy it. But yeah, I believe the world titles need to get a reset. Let's see. All right. Evan, we didn't ask you. This was last week. I thought it was a fun question. Alex answered. I answered. Top 5 favorite movies
ever. You're on mute.
Okay. I said for you. You couldn't read my lips.
5 movies. Top 5. I have to go backwards.
He even muted himself just to mute everybody.
Any particular order or just any 5? Can I just not give an order?
See, I'm fair. I'll mute myself.
Any order?
Yeah.
Okay. So easy. Number 1 by far, even though it's in there, is Shawshank Redemption. I can watch that thing 365 days a year. The Back to the Future trilogy, I could watch that over and over again. I could watch that on repeat. You're gonna laugh just because I think I love The Rock. Speaking of The Rock, that's the better Rock. I love The Rock.
So let me ask you first off, love The Rock, Sean Connery, Nicolas Cage, awesome movie.
Phenomenal.
But let me ask you, and you don't have to, you just answer and we can keep going so we don't get stuck. Do you just not like The Rock?
No, I like The Rock. I just don't like this storyline.
Okay.
With how it's framed. I loved him as I was more of an Austin guy, but I like him. I just because of what he's involved in, it's kind of annoying.
Okay. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. So The Rock, Shawshank Redemption.
For me, you're gonna laugh. It fell in love. It's the bat. Which one is it? It's the Batman with Heath Ledger. That movie I could watch over and over again. That Batman when he wrote that Batman was one of my top. I'm a Batman person, so the Batman whole thing is just my thing. I'm a Batman guy. The 5th one. Let's see. That's a tough one for me. What would be my 5th? Rocky 4. I could listen to Rocky 4 trilogy music over and over again. I'm a Rocky guy. It's funny, I had The Rock
Drago.
twice. Ironically, we're talking about The Rock, but The Rocky twice. But for me, it's hard for me because when I hit Shawshank, The Rock, like my three top are like I could watch The Rock, I could watch, but Shawshank for me is a constant, like everything for me. It's like when I first saw that movie, I go, "This is one of the greatest pictures." Like I personally just want to know what happened when they got to San Montaneo. What happened after they jumped off the boat and they hugged? I want to see that. I want to know what happened.
Lo-Fi, The Warriors. Yes, my brother used to watch. We played that video game. I think it was a video game, but Nikki used to like that. Nikki used to go, "Warriors, come out and play!" I remember that.
For some reason, I can watch Moneyball over and over again. I
like Moneyball. I do like Moneyball.
Draft Day over and over again. But there's a lot of good movies.
But those are like, see, those are guilty pleasure movies.
I can watch some scenes in certain movies over and over and over again.
Oh, scenes all day. I'll be on YouTube. I could watch scenes over and over again for sure.
Oh, yeah. One other movie I think that's just complete. If you ever want to enjoy old school, every time I want to have a baseball craving, I watch 8 Men Out. Great movie.
Alex used to when we were growing up. When I used to go to Alex's house, we'd watch. Trying to remember the actor. It was a kid, Alex, baseball movies. He did a bunch of different.
Rookie of the Year.
Was it Rookie of the Year?
Or The Sandlot?
No, it wasn't Sandlot. But I'm trying to remember. Trying to remember the actor's name. It was a kid, and he had got signed by a pro team, and maybe it was Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the Year,
yeah, that was a team that we watched growing up at Alex's house
with the Cubs.
The Cubs
with the broken arm.
Yeah,
go Robot.
Worldwide. It's actually one of the best characters. Brickma. Was that Hot Ice?
Brickma, yeah. But honestly, yeah, with Daniel Stern.
What's a guilty pleasure movie, Alex? Not favorite movie, but a movie where like you were like, like you're kind of like people kind of go, "You really like that movie?" Or a movie that you're like you don't really want somebody to know that you like, but it's like that, but it's maybe it's a chick flick or something, and you're like, I'm gonna watch this, and you can sit down and enjoy it.
Oh shit! Damn, I've never thought about that. Like,
not obviously we have favorite movies, and we're not like we're talking Legend of the Fall. We're talking, last week we're talking these other movies, but like, I'll say like for me, a guilty pleasure movie that I, and I'll say it because I don't care. Mamma Mia, Tati Senere. With Mamma Mia, that's a movie I will sit down and I can actually watch and enjoy, and it's not probably a movie I'm gonna, obviously now I'm with you guys, so I don't care. You guys can see me watch it. But it's like, it's like one of those movies you see, oh, God, the guys are coming. Spit. Watching football.
For my wife, Rent.
For your wife, Rent?
Rent, because she's a Broadway person.
He sings along. 50 First Dates for Adam Sandler. For Raphael. Awesome. That's a good one.
Awesome. I don't know, man, because I've never really thought about like any movie that I want to watch. Like I don't mind saying I watch it. But a guilty something that I wouldn't. Oh, gotta think about that one.
So Dad Dean for his top 5, Enter the Dragon. I believe that's Bruce Lee. Ralph used to watch those a lot when we were growing up. Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Avengers Endgame, and Spider-Man No Way Home.
Those are my cures for insomnia. I'd fall asleep.
Oh, look at Scotty. I think Scotty's guilty pleasure is anything with Kate Hudson. Totally understandable. Absolutely get it. Let's see, Scotty, top series: Godfather, Matrix, Back to the Future, John Wick, and Bourne Identity. Dave, Private Parts, a Howard Stern movie. I do recall that movie. I never watched it, but I know which one.
Oh, it's the funniest thing.
Enemy Mine.
Oh, I got it. Basketball.
Basketball?
Basketball. You guys never watched it?
No.
Evan, you've watched it.
I've seen it. It's
yes.
Fine. You know what mine is? It's top. If I my guilty pleasure movie, because is Top Gun. Like I watch Top Gun.
Oh man, you see?
Go watch Maverick again. Like Maverick. Like it's like people waited. You don't realize like Top Gun, Highway to the Danger Zone is like the most like you hear that song and you just want to fly in it. You want to fly in F-15.
Even the opening, the Top Gun Maverick.
Never saw Top Gun.
You've never seen Top Gun? What?
Never seen Top Gun.
No, Bobby,
you are something wrong with you.
No. Bobby,
what is wrong with you?
No, man. No.
Iceman. Maverick Goose.
Lo-Fi. Alex's favorite movie is looking in the mirror and saying Tua. That's awesome.
How have you not seen Top Gun?
I never saw it. I've been meaning to see it. I see it available on my TV. I'm like, I'm gonna watch that one day. And I
Bobby,
just haven't got to.
please, when this show's done,
I'm about to challenge him.
I
Have you
guarantee
watched
you.
Breaking Bad?
Yeah, because
Succession?
of Tati. I didn't really stick, but I watched it
Tell
because
me
of
you've
Tati.
watched Succession.
Huh?
Tell me you've watched Succession.
Up until like the last couple seasons, yes.
What's wrong with you?
I was one.
Ray Donovan?
No, I never saw Ray Donovan.
Ray Donovan. Yes, Ray Donovan was
What's
awesome.
wrong with you?
Why are you going through all of this? Peaky Blinders. Have you seen Peaky Blinders?
Boring.
No.
What?
They're good.
Peaky Blinders is not boring. Get out of here, bro.
Ozark?
I didn't watch Ozark. I started watching the first episode. I watched the first episode. I turned it off. It was too much. It was
It's so good.
I know. It's those are right now. I'm into. Yes, I've seen Sopranos. Yeah.
My wife doesn't
right now, I'm
understand what
finishing
happens
Narcos.
at the end.
I started
we
watching
also want to know
Narcos
what happens
finally.
at the end.
Narcos, Alex. You told me about Narcos, but Alex, I asked you when we were down there.
Wait, you see the Mets guy? What's his name? That's the coolest entry of any sports athlete.
Oh yes, the closer.
The Narcos song.
Yes.
Does he really?
Yeah, for the reliever for the.
But
Mets.
Alex, I asked you when we talked about this when I went down there.
Anyone?
I haven't started it yet, but
10 years ago.
Shut up. You just asked me about Sopranos, and I said, I watched it 10 years ago. No, I watched it recently. You watched Narcos, but I asked you about El Patron de Mall. You said you watched that, right?
No, I haven't watched that. I haven't watched.
Oh, you haven't watched? Oh, you gotta
No,
watch
I
it.
haven't watched it.
You gotta watch that.
Lincoln Lawyer. Lincoln Lawyer is really good.
Lincoln Lawyer is amazing. The movie and the show.
The show.
What's your favorite B movie? Dad Dean.
I hear a B movie.
B movie.
I will say right now I'm watching. And Alex's son watches this, but I'm really into it right now.
Traffic.
No. What's that show, Alex? Oh crap, Tati, what are we watching?
Okay, what's your favorite football movie? Ever?
That's a good question.
If
But
you had a
My
Remember the Titans
football
is a
movie?
guilty pleasure. That's a good one.
Big Bang Theory. That's the movie. That's the show I'm watching. Big Bang
Big
Theory.
Bang Theory is funny. Yeah, my son loves
That's
it.
hilarious, dude.
It's so dumb.
But what's your favorite B movie? And we'll ask about the football movie. But what's your favorite B movie? Grandma's Boy is what Lo-Fi said.
But by the way,
Grandma's
you know
Boy
what
is
I do?
awesome.
By the way,
Grandma's Boy is amazing.
Curb Your Enthusiasm. Rest in peace to Richard Lewis. By the way,
Hell yeah, Richard
By
Lewis,
the way,
rest in peace.
if ever Bobby did this for me, whenever you're down
Yes.
and you need to do something, I do it at work all the time. I play the one scene. Where's mom? Where's mom?
I just watched it the other day, dude. I'm not
she's
lying.
doing okay. She's fine.
She's all right. She's all right.
Where is
She told me not to bother you.
She was in the hospital.
Bother
Oh
you.
well, she was, but now she's back, and I love Curb, dude. Are you watching a new season?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it, man. I love it.
Sicario.
By
Actually,
the
now
way.
that you mentioned Sicario,
But the
I watched
original, the
Sicario
first
was
couple
amazing.
seasons are so much better.
Let me see. I'm gonna look that up because I do.
By
need
the
to-
way, my colleague, the guy who says Ben number one, Evan number one, his
Yeah.
dad looks exactly like Larry David. So every time I see him, I call him Larry David.
Favorite B movie?
What qualifies as a B movie? What
Alec,
the rank?
I would have to assume movies that are like made that like are kind of ripoffs. I'm seeing like Eight-Legged Freaks,
I'm
Evil Dead. I don't really watch
I'm
those.
not a big fan of those. Like I don't waste my time.
I'm gonna see if I could find one, and I'll tell you. Because see, like Leprechaun, I know that one, but I didn't really watch that.
I just watched the movie with
Bubba Hotep with which is Elvis in a retirement home who faked his death, and then now he fights zombies. I did see that movie.
Low budget.
That's
Okay, I
stupid.
got you. Not
Yeah.
a rip-off.
Rocky
Low
Horror
budget.
Show. Tati wrote that, and it's on here. Does Mars Attacks doesn't count. That's not a B movie. That's a great question, and honestly, I'm looking at these, and I don't really like these type of movies. I don't really. There's nothing here. No, not. I like Mortal Kombat Part 1, but I do not like Mac and Me. Mac and Me is one that I watched growing up. That's a ripoff of E.T.
Reptile on Netflix, the latest one with Benicio del Toro and Justin Timberlake.
I didn't see that. Would Spaceballs count? Spaceballs probably doesn't count.
Yeah,
But
by the
anyway,
way, my buddy was the one who did. Did he actually do it? My buddy Dave was the one who suggested Private Parts.
Sharknado.
Gotta love my buddy who suggested the Goes Old School movie. He's right. That's my buddy Dave. The big he gave me a shout out for Warren Sapp because he's the big Bucks fan. Hey Dave, what do you think of Baker Mayfield?
So
And
favorite football. I've heard about Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer.
Does
football
the Blair
movie?
Witch Project qualify as a B movie?
I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe.
Or oh my God, which is the low budget ones that they did oh my God. It's like the Blair Witch, but and the houses and all that.
I know, Scotty. That's why I'm sorry. I know.
Best football movie? Necessary
Best
Roughness.
football movie?
Necessary Roughness.
Friday Night Lights.
Necessary Roughness. Have you ever seen Necessary Roughness? It's
No,
hilarious.
I'm gonna look it up.
About the Texas State Armadillos? It's the best. It's so fun.
No, I would
I'm
have to
gonna
say, I would say Remember the Titans.
No, Remember the Titans is a cheesy movie. That's not really that's a cheesy movie.
That's a good movie. That's a good
great. What about, you want to go cheesy? Go Varsity Blues.
No, not
No,
Varsity.
if you want to cry, you watch We Are Marshall. You watch Marshall.
Yes, that one.
That one.
Yes.
I've never seen that one. That's always been on.
That's a tearjerker.
You've never seen We Are Marshall?
The Little
No.
Giants.
Oh, it was.
What about The Replacements? The Replacements is a fun movie.
The Replacements hilarious.
By the way,
guilty pleasure: Keanu Reeves and Keanu Reeves acting, and also Sandra Bullock. That is one of my good. I love their
Any given Sunday is
Here, I got some news here from Jets.
Oh, the
former
Javon Kinlaw. Yeah, Javon Kinlaw.
Yeah, signed with the Jets on a 1-year deal.
I know why. By the way,
The longest
if
yard.
this is wrong to say, Bobby. I know why she likes the Little Giants. Tati,
You better calm down.
you want to know why?
Why?
Because of the annexation of Puerto Rico.
Oh, whoa. Yes,
Oh,
yes,
they're playing.
it's true. Actually, yes. She brings that up all the time.
Love. See, I just got her to laugh.
Yeah, you heard her, right? Yeah.
She misses me.
The annexation of Puerto Rico.
Here we go.
One of the movies, another movie that I would say is a
Roughness. That was
a movie I could watch over and over again. That I would count as probably. I don't know if it's a guilty
Kathy
pleasure.
Ireland. He was the kicker.
Hold on. The movie I would say is a
Kathy
guilty.
Ireland.
Jesus, who are you talking to?
Scotty asked which supermodel was in Necessary Roughness. I said Kathy Ireland.
All right. My goodness, you said it like 4 times. I was gonna say a movie that I would count as a guilty pleasure that I could watch over and over again. I could listen to it. The Man in the Iron Mask with Leonardo DiCaprio. That's the movie, the story. I could watch that over and over again. I love that movie.
Who here has actually seen Oppenheimer? Even though I could watch it on Paramount, I have not sat through it yet.
I have not watched it yet.
That's picture, but you're basically
It's on Peacock.
Yeah, and Paramount. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Peacock. I gotta watch it.
No, go watch Necessary Roughness. Amazing kicker. We could use a kicker like that on our team.
Yeah, I'll have to watch it for sure. But anyway, Evan, you're back. Are you officially back? Are you gonna get back?
I'm back full time.
There you go. All right.
Especially when my
Princess
prediction
Bride.
hopefully doesn't come true, because if they don't sign Derrick Henry, all downhill for the Dolphins. By the way, if he signs like a $6 or $7 million contract, and Chris Greer then says, "Oh, we're content with our running back core of Jeff," and they re-sign Jeff Wilson again, and if they come back with that core 4 again, with so many running backs available right now, I will be very, very disappointed.
Yeah, but do me a favor, because somebody who just is tuning in right now is going to say, but we have Devon Achane, we have Raheem Mostert. Look what they did last year. No. Hold on. They had them last year. Why? We don't need Derrick Henry. Tell people why you're saying that they should sign Derrick Henry, even though we have 2 very good backs in Miami.
Because neither of those 2 players is somebody that they've planned for. He's not a game wrecker. On 3rd and 4th down, we struggle and we consistently throw the ball on 3rd and 4th and 1. But when you have a guy like Derrick Henry, who is the closest thing to Barry Sanders and Jim Brown in terms of changing the way the running back position was played, you know that if you're 3rd or 4th and 1, no matter what your offensive line is doing, he's going to get you that yard. He is that guy who is the definition of playoff football. He's the definition of a grinder. He's the definition of a power back. He's the definition of a 3-down back. But you don't necessarily need to use him that way. He wants to come and win a championship. For me, this is a guy who changes the mentality. And why I want him is because no matter how good our offense was last year and how great our running game was, those players like Devon Achane and Raheem Mostert and Chris Brooks and Jeff Wilson, they're not going to force Mike McDaniel to run the ball. But trust me, Mike McDaniel does not want to be looking down the sideline on a 3rd and 4th and 1 and not see Derrick Henry on that field. If he sees him, he's going to use him. He's a weapon. You want to have a weapon on offense like Tyreek Hill. The equivalent of that on the running back position is Derrick Henry, even at 31.
No, I'm not going to argue with you. You know me, I've been banging the table for him for a couple of years now. And I think
if he goes to Baltimore, Lamar Jackson might get a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think you add him with a Devon Achane and even a Raheem Mostert, that 1-2-3 punch. And like again, you instead on 4th and 1, instead of throwing it to a 5-yard back screen, hoping to get 10 yards ahead on Tyreek or get knocked down 5 yards behind and lose down, you're running it with Derrick Henry on that 4th and run and getting that first down. Is this midnight mass? No, no, we're about almost done, Florida man. But we appreciate you watching. Alex, man, any final thoughts, brother?
Vince Papale.
No, well, my final thought, Evan, is great to have you back.
100%.
I love. Notice what just one day of free agency has caused. Just a massive.
And this is why it's midnight match. We're preaching. That's why. That's awesome.
I'm not the son of a preacher, man, though.
He's Jewish. But don't worry, I'm Catholic. So
was Jesus.
Jesus. Hey, I didn't say nothing. I didn't say nothing, bro. I didn't say nothing.
But just it is great to have you back, man. And are we gonna do fast break on Wednesday or no? We're good.
I think we could do it.
All right. Perfect.
Explain to me why the Heat have lost 3 in a row.
We're ending the show.
Wednesday, bro.
I'm giving you a preamble. But see, because Bobby says you're here to talk Dolphins, but I do follow the Heat.
Well, the reason why
I'm teasing you. By the way, I actually think why have they lost 3 in a row? Because honestly, I'm telling you this right now, the Heat get bored in the month of March. They're waiting for the playoffs. They're bored.
It's not that.
Bored.
It's they're missing love.
Go ahead, Alex. I know you want to respond. Go ahead. Don't wait. Go for it.
Missing love, and they're experimenting right now with certain rotation pieces, even with Patty Mills. DeLon Wright's not getting some playing time. Also, these games kind of show where Tyler Hero will shine, and when people don't understand what Tyler Hero does for this team at times. So you want to get Tyler Hero back as quickly as possible to establish that part, but now Jovic also, his minutes are being altered a little bit. He's no longer just doing those one long stints. Now they're even running a lot of offense through him at times. And to be quite frank, these 3 last games, they've settled. Their defensive disposition has struggled. Their defensive rating has gone down these past 3 days. They led teams. Don't get me wrong. Washington was hot, but there's a reason they were so hot and they were missing. Number one, side note, Bam is struggling after that knee-to-knee collision. Bam has struggled a little bit with his lift, and you kind of notice it on defense, him replacing and getting back. He's having some problem with like lateral movement. So I do think it is affecting him. I would not be surprised if there's some rest in the next coming weeks if Hero does come back. And just settling. They settled too much, and they weren't defensive disposition wasn't at all-time high these last 3 games. So, but it's things they're going to correct. So there's no problem.
There you go. All right. Well, let's first say. Go ahead. Say what?
I gave you a perfect preview of fast break. And just a side note, I won't be disappointed. I will sort of shift a little bit with the pending release of Joe Mixon. If Derrick Henry doesn't want to come to Miami,
Mixon did get released. Yeah, he's released.
I would gladly take Joe Mixon. He's a second. He's a poor man's Derrick Henry. I would take him.
Henry, I would assume, would like to be featured back or 1A. I think if he says he wants to win a championship.
He's at that stage where he'll.
Plus, I mean, when you have to, his caliber, he could be a 1A, 1B. Don't freaking matter.
If he goes to Baltimore, he ain't going to get that. He'll get something, but he won't get the normal stuff because Lamar Jackson will take most of it anyways.
Yeah, but Or Lamar Jackson won't have to run as much because then he got Derrick Henry. He could be, you know, you look what Tannehill was able to do. Obviously, Lamar is better than Tannehill, but but Lamar, I mean, you give somebody mobile like Tannehill, you get a Lamar Jackson, that's going to make Derrick Henry feel 5 years younger. You know, you kind of take the load off of him.
Yeah. By the way, just to reiterate that I would be very content that Ryan Tannehill is my wide receiver 4. I'd be very content.
Yeah, and Scotty, I think you're right. I think if that did go down, if we were to get a Henry, I think we would lose. I think Wilson would be the one, the odd man out.
Well,
I see Mozart and Mozart and Achen. I don't.
Okay,
I can't
between
see
DeAndre Swift, Dalvin Cook, Jonathan Taylor, all the stuff we tried to do last year, that Greer is not going to sign another star running back. They saw what they need. He can't be that up. If he's that obtuse, then in the words of from Great Shawshank, are you being obtuse? Then he truly is obtuse.
Yeah. Yeah, and Henry to Baltimore will make them very legit, absolutely. But Finstanza will be back, I believe,
Wednesday or Thursday or Friday, one of those days.
One of those days. I know Thursday will be
when something pops, I'll be jumping.
Thursday night we should have on the clock, 8:00 Eastern. Since we didn't do it tonight, we're gonna do it on Thursday night. So we're talking running backs. Funny enough. Obviously, all the breaking news from the free agency and how that impacts the Miami Dolphins draft. So don't forget to tune in there. So Finstanza, guys, keep a lookout on Twitter at Fitz Talk Network for the new episode of Bandwagon. Catch Finstanza and Fish Tank Hank. And of course, Alex and I will be back for a fast break to talk Miami Heat basketball and catch up on that. Until then, we appreciate you. Thank you all for watching us. Like, subscribe, Dolphin fans. Fins up.
Let's go Heat.